creative kind of play, let alone how we played against Man United, let alone how we played in preseason, let alone Leeds and moving forward. It's cool though, man. Rants and Man United fans, you lot be all right, man. 37 games. You'll definitely get top 10 finish. I rate you lot's thing. You lot are good, man. You lot are good. So good. So good. Unique qualities. Like what Pep Guardiola and City used to do when we used to play well and get popped. They used to gas us. Well, gas us, you lot keep working, man. Keep working. What? You ain't beat us in the league in like, what, 6 games? West Ham did that. Crazy. Newcastle did that. Mazzolini, lad. Mazzolini. But anyways, people, StreamYard is cop blocking us, but it's not going to stop us regardless. So I'm going to share my screen. I will be popping into the YouTube chat. But one thing that this club will not be forgiven of, and we will definitely speak about it tomorrow at another time, 2 separate deals hype. They said, and I told you, look, don't believe this shit. Madueke deal is separate to Eze. So now why are we hearing we need to sell to do all of this? And we don't need to sell to buy. Don't get twanged by this new pre-David Ornstein. When have you ever heard FFP furthermore, but Arsenal FFP and it's Champions League FFP, UEFA FFP, not the Prem. That's the new twang. At the end of the day, you lot made your bed, lie in it. Whether you sign Eze, if there's still some hope, or you sign Rodrigo, or you sign no one, make sure in May of 2026, there's parades. Pardon me. So don't tell me about 2 separate deals. And make sure you win something, people. What's going on there? Moving away from that, you would have seen, and we'll get into it, Trossard has signed a new deal. My tweet here says, Trossard surely has a 1-year option in his new contract. Purely because what's the point giving him more money and you haven't got at least an option to extend his deal? It's not making sense. And that's what I mean by it's been a bit of a dagger because Eze's going Spurs. Obviously, Trossard signed a new deal. Doesn't look positive where Eze or Gyökeres is concerned. And this is why it annoys me because I don't want to hear crying about wages, as it says there, only to rise his weekly wage. Because realistically, if you're Trossard, why on God's green earth would you sign a new deal, especially if it's the same wages, if you're not getting more piece? It does not make sense. But fair play if that's the case, people. And as I said here, I'm not a pro coach. I'm not a decision maker. If you like these choices, I love it. Because at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta, you're getting 15 million a year. I'm an armchair expert. You're a pro licensed coach. But you're doing your thing. Cronky, you know about business, millions and billions of pounds. If you lot think that we have enough, assuming we don't sign anyone, if you like it, I love it. Just make sure if I'm happy one week, sad the other week, happy the other, May 2026. Because the way I feel, I can't lie to you, put the FA Cup in the bag and the Champions League in the bag. Just make sure in May 2026, we've won something. Simple as that. And anybody that thought Madueke was signing for our club for 50 million a year to be back up, you're smoking rocks. But anyways, shout out to you lot. And I'm not trying to hear nothing about certain ruthlessness at the club, as these tweets here say, people. I'm really not. And big up the Twitter dons, especially if they wanted the player that badly. You know what? We'll get into all of that tomorrow, man, because it's way too late. But as you can see, the sentiment around our football club is not positive on social media. Not that I'm taking social media seriously, but we'll delve into that tomorrow, people. You would have seen today, Leandro Trossard agrees a new Arsenal contract. Trossard has agreed a new contract at Arsenal, which will grant him a significant pay rise. You're talking about getting a cap and a hold on wages. We know the players that are injured. We know the players that are not doing what they need to do. We also know the players that need to leave, whether they're leaving or not. So when you're telling us you need to sell to buy, which for me, I'm just going to put it out there, I don't care if it's PSR or FFP or whatever. We don't need to sell to buy. If we need to sell to buy, that's because we're saying it's a stacking thing. We don't need to do that. Kieran Maguire's come out and said we could buy Eze if we want, which is why I told you, look, don't get excited about Eze. I don't agree with this, but because I love you lot and I love Arsenal Football Club, I'm just going to throw these things out there. Do not shoot the messenger, shoot the message. Where Eze is concerned, I'm just going to throw the first thing out there. You've seen the signings that have signed for our club. If Eze was a priority, he'd be at the football club. In my opinion, the club are looking at Odegaard, Wanyeri, whether he should be relying on an 18-year-old. Kai Havertz in that role. That's them. We've signed Gyökeres, who's 27. We've signed Zubimendi, who's 26. The year before, we signed Marino, which was like 28. I'm not saying I agree with these things, people. I'm not saying I agree with it, but our club care about resale value. Too much dominoes needed to fall into place for Eze to sign. But anyways, the 30-year-old has agreed an agreement on a contract adjusted, increasing his salary, but not extending the deal beyond its previous expiry of 2027. So we're giving him more money, but on the same terms. I'd like to imagine, I'd like to imagine assuming everything beyond his wages stays the same, I would like to imagine there's an option of a 1 year deal because it doesn't make more sense. It doesn't make no sense if you're looking after your money and your wages and you haven't sold anyone because Trossard was linked up until now with several moves away and several other players. Why would you put more money on the expenditure? As I said, I'm just a football fan. I ain't an accountant, not a lawyer, not been involved in these multi-million pound deals. I don't know what's going on there. But anyways, smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't, people. At present, there are no significant developments regarding Trossard potentially leaving the club during this transfer window. The Belgium international has been in talks with the club for some time over improved salary, with a view to bringing his salary in line with his valued role in the squad. So he's a rotationary option, a valued first team member. Arteta doesn't have a mad list of great attackers you sign. He's one of those. He is. He's not that there's a big sample size, but Trossard has been one of Mikel Arteta's better signings. And he's been a bit of a super sub. So he's probably getting more P's. And at 30 years of age, I hear it. The Belgium international has been in talks with the club for some time over improved salary, with a view to bringing his salary in line with his valued role in the squad. After a process that has played out across the summer, Trossard and Arsenal have now found an accord. Now, we heard Trossard needs to leave, this one, that one. Trossard's clearly not leaving now. You can still leave the football club if you sign a new deal. What does that mean for anything? Because if you don't think you need Eze, if you don't think you need Rodrigo, if you don't think you need some guys that address what Eze could be for us and what Rodrigo could be for us, fair play. Because whether you sign one player, two players, or none, you're telling me as an armchair expert, we have enough. Make sure in May, June, July of 2026, there's a parade in Islington, and Islington Council are putting letters through Islington residences' doors, people. Again, StreamYard's doing us dirty. Don't know why your comments are not coming up, people, but I'll get into those in a sec. We know when Trossard joined our club. I don't want to hear none of that. I'll be so honest with you. So yeah, Ben Jacobs has said Leandro Trossard has agreed improved terms at Arsenal, but remains contracted until summer 2027. Initial approaches this summer from Brentford and Dortmund, but Trossard still valued by Arsenal, who stuck to the high valuation. Decision now taken to reward the 30-year-old. Make sure it works, bro. Arsenal and Porto were in talks yesterday over a loan deal for Kivior with a mandatory buy clause next season. The defender is open to leaving and views Porto's project positively. You can do that. Just make sure we get the piece. And I just want to throw this out there. On the 6th of February 2025, this was said by Sammy Mokbel on behalf of Arsenal. There is a burgeoning sense at Arsenal that they are gearing up for an unprecedented summer. I'm not big up Sammy Mokbel, big up BBC, big up Arsenal. I just want to know what you've seen at this point. Is it unprecedented? Maybe in terms of addressing the areas we need to address and the volume of signings we've signed so far, but in terms of sales, in terms of blockbuster signings, in terms of game changers, where you look at probably only Gyökeres and Zubendi, I just want to know, is this unprecedented from you lot? That's all I want to know. I'm not even offering my opinions. David Ornstein said Arsenal have a lot of PSR headroom so they could do more, but they're tight on UEFA financial fair play rules. I'll be real. I'm not saying Arsenal don't need to look after money. I'm not even saying Arsenal are necessarily wrong behind why they're going about stuff. I just want to know with you lot, for all the PSR and we're going to do this and unprecedented that, when have you lot specifically seen anything for any club, let alone us, anything around UEFA financial fair play rules, with the exception of Chelsea and maybe City? This is the latest twang. We are remixing the same story. But Gooner. Speaking of Gooners, in Berta we trust. Arsenal are hoping to sell several players, but have made limited progress thus far. Potential buyers will be hoping Arsenal will blink first and reduce their demands, and the game of brinksmanship continues. Now, Fabio Vieira, Lokonga potentially, Kyle Hine, Reece Nelson. But we need to, Zinchenko even, maybe Kivior, not to them extents, but Kivior, get rid of them. We are going to blink. There's a week, 10 days, 14 days left of the window. Forget incomings, which we all want. We need to make progress. At some point, we're in a position of weakness. You see, in this life, people, life is about leverage. We don't have none. Arsenal had been looking at Eze all summer. There were mixed messages, but the talk in the last 2 weeks has been that they'd prefer a left winger after sales. Make sure, because the way I feel, you need to spend peace. I need resale value. You need to spend peace. I need peace. Whether the signings work or they flop or not, you need to spend peace. Simple as that. Arsenal are not in the race for Eze. Calm down, Ornstein, man. You're hurting us. FC Porto remain interested in Jacob Kivior after Arsenal already turned down a bid in July. He's already high on the Porto list for new centre backs, but Arsenal value Kivior as an important player, not an easy deal. That was said by Romano. Guillaume Balaguer said Real Madrid insist Arsenal made an approach for Rodrigo yet, have not made an approach for Rodrigo yet, and there had been no offers for the winger. Real Madrid will accept less for him as the window draws to a close, but as things stand, nobody expects him to leave. And he was on the bench today. He don't want to leave. He's in a toxic relationship. If you sign Rodrigo, if you sign whatever, I might say, you know what, it's fine where Eze is concerned, even though you should be getting both people. Gurhi's imminent move to Liverpool could cause a dominant transfer domino that results in Arsenal missing out on their dream replacement for Eze. Bro, this for Saliba, sorry. Jacquet has been linked with Crystal Palace to replace Gurhi. Dead. He's got a 30 odd million release clause. Until Palace get the Eze money or the Gurhi money, they're not letting that happen. This was probably going to be for the summer of 2026, but we'll leave that there. We won't get into that. Stuttgart talks with Arsenal for Fabio Vieira are centered on a loan deal with an obligation if certain performance-led targets are met. A figure in the region of 17 million has been discussed. That's the first thing that gets me. If certain criteria is met, what does that mean? Is that 20 appearances? Is that 20 goal contributions? What is that? Because the way it's looking, because Kivior's, don't get twisted, Kivior's linked with an option to go. But we assume Kivior, Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson all go on loan again. We're talking about the same things next season. Fair play, though, if that's what you don't want to do. Arsenal apparently are now in contact to sign unbelievable Arsenal forward Lucas Arnold, elite clickbait. But Inter Milan have been linked with Leandro Trossard. Obviously, in the hours that have flown people, Trossard signing a new deal at Arsenal. Kivior is being linked with AC Milan as well as Juventus and Porto and several other clubs. So draw whatever conclusions you want. Guillaume Balaguer spoke about Rodrigo, in which he said the latest on Rodrigo. Now City have decided to keep Silvinho. The option of Rodrigo going to City is over. Rodrigo has not told Real Madrid he wants to leave. There have been zero offers for him at this point. So for all the links from Arsenal, PSG, Liverpool, City, this one, that one, even United, there's been no official offers. So it's all paper talk. Apparently, Real Madrid is asking for 100 million euros. What's that? 89 million quid or something like that. But closer to the end of the market, they would accept less, 60 million to 70 million euros. But as it stands, nobody expects him to leave. Real doubt Rodrigo would accept an offer from Newcastle. Newcastle have had a shit window in it. If it ever, and I know you lot have seen the Isaac stuff. If it ever arrives, Real insist Arsenal have not made an approach at this point. It's cool though, man. Con Marble Halls or Con Harrison, not saying he knows or doesn't know what he's talking about. He has said Arsenal had held strong talks with Eze's camp. The player was sold on Arsenal. We sold him the world only to never do anything for over the 2 weeks. Left the player with no choice. Eze, you've only got one choice to make. If Spurs are actually in active talks with you, go over there. Go play under Thomas Frank. Go play in the Champions League. Arsenal doing this dibby thing. Because if I'm Eze, I would literally look at Arsenal. Yeah, I got released as a little kid. Yeah, I might want to sign for them. Yeah, I might be holding out for them. But at the end of the day, they're selling me dreams, for one. Spurs are actively offering me something and in talks with my club. Arsenal can't rate me that much. Because I'm not even trying to do the Madueke and Gyökeres and Zubendi and whatever. Everybody who's at this club, they are priorities. Eze's not. Eze is contingent on Wanyeri leaving or potentially Wanyeri getting more minutes. Kai Havertz's durability in that role. The captain Martin Odegaard, maybe even changing team dynamics, not believing in him at left wing, no real resale value at 27 and the wages he'll probably be on, not having any outgoings. Fair enough. Whether you bring Eze, Rodrigo, one signing, two signings, one attacking signing, two attacking signings, whatever, you're telling me we got enough. I don't care if you tried to sign players because I hear that. Every club, even clubs that we're gonna sit there and rate, like, yeah, they had a window, that one to remember. They're the ones, they won the transfer window. They probably tried to sign other players. But to me, as an ignorant fan and a fan, you're telling me whatever way we move, whether it's left for one or two players, whether it's none, whether it's somehow in terms of squad depth or quality, we lose people. You're telling me we've got enough. And even with Trossard, reality is, if you bring in Eze and Rodrigo or one or the other, bro, Trossard can stay and be part of the squad. I actually think Trossard's quite disrespected. I hear we want money and there might be teams interested in him, but that's dead. Do we want to build a team that can compete in 4 trophies or not? Ademola Lookman's entourage has been in talks to teams after his transfer to Inter fell through. Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Manchester City, and Aston Villa have all been in contact in the last 48 hours, says Graham Bailey. I don't know if I believe that, because I think the jokes or the stories write themselves. Arsenal and City officials contacted Rodrigo over the weekend. The Gunners are ready to pursue a loan deal for the Real Madrid winger, but they need to make departures first. Very fact that it says departures first, forget it then. Forget it then. Because unless I wake up tomorrow and Fabio Vieira or any one of the two or all of them, but Fabio Vieira, Kivio, Trossard's not going, but Trossard, Reece Nelson, Lokonga, Kyle Hine, anybody that's linked with moves, if they haven't cut from the club, it's a myth. So what are we doing here? As an Arsenal fan, you got to ride these highs and lows, man. And do you know what? I want to go on my own Twitter, man, because sometimes I tweet tears from the heart. Arteta, you're my guy, but I'll be real. That 50 you spent, it has to bang. Madueke. You have to bring a parade in Islington in 2026. But I know there's peas there, man. Wenger, please call him. Man, them are moving mad. Wenger, call him, man. In fact, David Moyes, because David Moyes wouldn't sign this many rubber youths. Please call your guy. Arteta, you're moving mad. I don't know if it's Arteta, Berta, Tim Lewis, this and that. Everybody at Arsenal's moving mad. I know you're at the PFAs at the moment because I watched it on TikTok. Big up Cecil for getting that gig. Brother, come on. We've got athletes. We've got them statistic dons. We need ballers. We need mavericks. We need people that can make the difference. We need people that there's an element of the tactics from Arteta have been crap. The players have been crap. How do you make it work? We ain't got no Stardust. And don't get it twisted. Mikel Arteta, tactically, listen, it's above my remit. I ain't got UEFA A license. I ain't been at a club for 7 years. I'm not earning 15 million a year. Make it work. Because at the end of the day, you need to. You need to. You have to make it work. I'm hoping Berta just signs Ryan. You lot won't know him, but he's Brazilian. Take him in, people. Some fans shouldn't be vexed. I was told if we keep everybody fit, it's wavy for us. People saw Rodrigo links, started moving Arnie, if you know, you know, and turned their noses up at Lookman. Crazy. Big up fans on TV, but he's moving mad thinking Adama Traore is better than Martinelli. Crazy people. We'll explore this a lot more. But I was told unprecedented summer, powder dry, and goosebumps. After September the 1st, when there's nothing to be done, because you can still do something about it. We'll have dialogue. Proper dialogue. Incredible dialogue. Crazy dialogue. I can't believe there's 600 of you and we ain't got 100 likes. You lot hate me, man. When I'm gone, you lot will miss me. I don't know why these comments are not coming up on StreamYard, people. You lot have to bear with me. No clue why they're not coming up, but we have to make do with what we may do. Can't bring your comments on screen, but what I can do is read them out. Big up Paul. He said graveyard salaries. But even that, I don't want to hear that. I'll be real. I don't want to hear that. I understand people need to move on for whatever reason. But we walked into this window knowing this needed to happen. And again, this is above my remit. But Berta, Mikel Arteta, Tim Lewis, Cronkies, all of you dons, yeah, you had to have walked in this window knowing there's several possibilities. The ideal scenario, Gabriel Jesus, this is dream scenario. Gabriel Jesus, regardless of injuries, them wages are gone. Zinchenko's cut. Fabio Vieira, Lokonga, Reece Nelson, Kyle Hine, this one, that one, they've all gone. So that's dreamland. Worst case scenario, you had to have sat there and thought, if none of these guys were 3 of the 4 goal, whatever, we can still maneuver. I don't want to hear nothing. Because this is why, for me, you have to protect your mental health. Love the club. We'll bleed for the club, people. We'll bleed for the club. We'll bleed for the club. But you have to love this thing from a distance. You, man, would like to win. You don't want to win. You're not dying to win. Or you wouldn't do these things. And certain fans fall for the same twang every minute of the day. I promise you, make sure you're here in the afternoon tomorrow, probably 1:30, 1:45 p.m. UK time. What did we hear? Oh my God, the Madueke and Eze deals are separate. Madueke will not affect it. 2-2s now. P's have been spent on not just Madueke, but other guys. We need to sell. Eze's going over them sides. We haven't made it happen. There was P's there. You're up, you're buying nonsense. If we equate it to a house, we've put the foundations, the central heating, the electric, all of these things to the point where I genuinely feel, and more so, ironically, I'm going to talk about the top of the house, which would be our attack. Now you're messing about. You've done all of that to not put a roof, on this. Fair enough, man. Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. If this is what if you like it, I love it. If you like it, I love it, bro. If you don't like it, I love it. Just make sure 2026 there's a parade. That's all I want. Because me, the way I feel, put the FA Cup in the bag. I want the Premier League. The one I want is the champs. But the way I feel about this club, everything would have to fall into place. There can be no injuries. Players form, like the players that are in good form, would have to be good or great. Players that are in bad form would have to work. There could be no refereeing problems. And I know Arsenal fans love to cry about that stuff. But in life and football mirrors society, things go left, You have to be able to respond to it. Things went left on Sunday against Man United. I know that we might look back and think, whoa, what does that mean for the title? But we won the game. We weren't great. We were definitely not great. But we got a clean sheet, scored more than them, and got 3 points. Everything has to work out like that then. Because if it doesn't, I know what I'm going to see, which is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be the same, but you might beat a Madrid. You might beat a City. You're going to have bare positive statistics. You're going to win games 9 times out of 10. We don't lose that many games. But when it really matters, when it goes from being a team that's challenging, from a good team to a great team, make sure May 2026. That's all I got. I'm not mad at you lot. I'm not mad at it. Listen, if you look like it, I love it. When we win, I'm happy. When we lose, I'm vexed. Make sure it works. Make sure all of this works. Because if it don't work, now we will have conversations. We're going to have so many conversations September the 1st. Because you didn't lie to me, but you lied to the people that follow my channel and you lied to the fans. Because you don't need to stop falling for this twang, bro. You don't need to understand the twangs that happen. They tell us we're in a great space financially. There's no problems. We're going to sell players, but we're going to do this. Now it's the sell to buy thing. Cool. You don't want to tell me about Madueke stats are great. And one thing I will say about this football club, you lot, if you don't sign a left winger or anybody else, you lot have sold Madueke a dream. You lot have done him dirty. Madueke plays for Arsenal Football Club, so there's always pressure. You're in England international. You played for Arsenal and Chelsea. You're a professional footballer. There's a level of pressure. But we all know the dynamics. We want a left winger. No one was signing Madueke. The Chelsea stink. Seeing Eze go over them sides. If we don't sign what we need to sign, there's going to be so much stuff. Make sure it works, bro. Big up, Frank. Why have you said later, Ryan? No clue, but I need to scroll all the way up to the top. StreamYard's done us dirty, man. StreamYard has done us so dirty. So dirty. But yeah, if I've missed your comment out, I apologize. There's over 600 of you tuned in. Big up the 108 of you have hit the like button. Must go and grab 200 people. Mustafa, you've said, what wage is Trossard getting? No clue. And I don't blame Trossard. And you know what the wickedest thing about this Trossard thing is? I know we're at this sell to buy crap and all this, but I don't care if Trossard. This is my opinion. This is DG opinions. I don't care if Trossard signs a new deal. I don't care how much money he's getting. Because my personal opinion is, man should be bringing in, regardless of what you say about players that need to go on wages and all this, you need to be bringing in Rodrigo and Eze. Trossard should be a squad player, bro. Trossard's a good player. I actually think he's being disrespected. Man need to see Eze, Rodrigo, Martinelli playing out this world, the option of Jesus and Trossard's mixing and blending in the squad. We talk about every game's a cup final. We talk about getting over the line. We talk about needing strength in depth. We talk about needing players that are reliable. We talk about wanting to compete for trophies. We need a bigger squad. If nothing changes, nothing changes, Big up JB. Thank God we're getting some sensibility and control back in this stream. I'm not sure what you mean there, but don't know, my guy. Bro, I've made my opinions. We had Smith Rowe. He was the left wing profile. He's literally like Eze, like for like. He shouldn't have been sold. See, I hear you, but I think, to be fair, Smith Rowe wanted to cut. I'm past the point of I'm blaming just Arteta. I'm blaming just Berta. You're all in this together. Because when you do good things, I don't know about anyone else on YouTube or you lot in your personal life, but when you do good things, I like to think I give you lot fair dues doing your thing. So if it goes left, or if I've got things to ask, you're all in this together. I always give the example. God bless my nan, yeah. But I come from a big family. I always say the same example. I used to love going to my nan's house because you're with all the cousins and you like there's bare of you just running up and down, gallivanting, ramping, all of this. We're having a great time. You see, if someone breaks my nan's vase or breaks something or does something you're not supposed to do, let's just assume there's 10 cousins, including myself, in the room, and we're frolicking, no one's asking nothing, but something breaks. My nan's coming in that room. Everybody that is in that room is getting beats. It don't matter who, and if you snitch, you're getting beats even more. But anyways, that's I digress. It doesn't matter who did what happened, this and that. If you're on the crime scene, you're getting bagged. Simple as that. That's the way I look at Arsenal. I don't work for Arsenal. I am not no into in the know. If I wish I was a fly on the wall, because then I might say, oh, you know what, Arteta, I blame you for that. Berta, I blame you for that. I'm not. You tell me it's a collaborative thing. You tell me it's an unprecedented summer. You tell me goosebumps. You do some good things, bringing in Gyökeres, Zubimendi, the only two game changers. You're all in this together, bro. I'm past that. You're all in this together. Make sure everything happens so that I've got something and you lot got something to celebrate. Because we're a good team. It's about being a great team. Better yet, it's about not being a good team. It's about being a winning team now. Because I'm tired of people chatting shit about Arsenal and being disingenuous and doing that rage bait bullshit that they do. So let's win some stuff so we can shut people up. I don't give a crap. If you do not support Arsenal, I promise you I don't care what you think. I barely even care about my own opinions, let alone Arsenal. But we're at that point, Arsenal fans. Fucking win some stuff and shut people up. We play attacking football, they chat shit. We play great defensive football, they chat shit. We play beautiful and not win anything, they chat shit. We stink up the place and like United and get 3 points, they chat shit. We get mocked for winning games, clean sheet, more goals, all these things than other people. I don't want to hear nothing. But the only way to shut people up is winning things. And until we win things, every option needs to be on the table, whether that's Arteta staying, being sacked, doing this, doing that. I don't understand this over allegiance thing. That's just me, though. I ain't got all the answers. That's just me. Everyone's allowed an opinion. I've definitely been wrong more times than I've been right. That's my thoughts. Make sure this is just an evening slash morning where I'm just vexed because you need to bring me something. If you lot think we've got enough to compete in 4 trophies, let alone top Liverpool, and I know people can, City rubbish and all that, but City have earned that. I want you lot to mock me, clip me up by all means, but I like to go off what I can see. I think we've got a good team. I don't think we've got a great team. I don't think we've gone up the levels I would like us to be stepping into the United game, whether it works or not. I love the signing of Zubimendi. He's better than Partey. I'll stand on that. Get on to me for that. I think Gyökeres will work, even though I think Arteta needs to pattern up 1-2 things, and we could have signed Isaac, Haaland. We've got Gyökeres, obviously, Sesko. There'll be the same issues. But come on, bro. And what I don't like about the football world after this United game is, oh my God, they stunk up the place. One, be fair, because we stunk up the place and won. You said we couldn't do that. Any other team, you'd say that's the mark of champions and all that crap. Not even saying we're going to win the title, but you would say that. I'm all about equality. On top of that, don't ever in your lives think that you're bringing some new narrative to me, anyone in the chat, or any Arsenal fans, because we've been bitching about